Happy Halloween, everybody! It's been 1 year since my last review, and that's just because I like to keep it special.
Yay!
For this year's Halloween special, I'm going to take a look at a little movie that scared the bejesus out of me when I was just a child. Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary.
Checking out some junk.
Well, I have come to check out some junk and report on whether I like it to you. And I don't know much about making a film. Gonna try, but try as I might, I'm
Pet Sematary, the book, came out the year I was born, 1983. A tight, concise thriller from the height of Stephen King's career, he has claimed this is the one book he wrote that scared him. Upon the advice of family, he put it away until contractual obligations forced him to submit it to publishers. There's nothing all that frightening about the story, but the overwhelming sense of impending doom and the oppressive obsession with mortality are clues to what was going on in the author's mind.
I can't believe my dad let me watch this shit. What a badass.
Let's go over everything you remember. That's what you're here for, right? The main guy's this doctor slash family man. He was unable to save this guy that was shredded up in a hamburger helper by an automobile. Now he sort of haunts the doctor, but in a good way. He's just full of smiles. Kind of reminds me of American Werewolf in London, which would have been in theaters around the time the book was being written.
Can I have a piece of toast?
You've got this truck barreling ass down the little country road all odd hours of the day. There's no fence on this property or anything, just this windy road and this constant stream of one truck doing 80.
No, my friend. Not in that road.
Gage!
I corralled him for you, missus.
Thank you so much.
You set foot in that road, you're dead meat. This is the final stage of Frogger. You want ridiculous? I'll tell you what ridiculous. You'd be better off taking a nap on a conveyor in a license plate factory. No animal stands a chance against this road. On either side of it, you can see divergent evolutionary paths. Why did the chicken cross the road?
There's that damn road. Uses up a lot of animals. Dogs and cats, mostly.
Your cat would have a better shot at being shaved and thrown into a velociraptor pen than being left to play in this yard. They might as well have moved into a pet bowling alley. Have I given you a clue? The only person that ever crossed that road was Magneto, and that's because he was riding Chuck Norris. He doesn't compete anymore, kid. Chuck Norris.
Yeah. That's one mean road, all right.
Well, you know what isn't dangerous? A pile of wood.
But according to this story, the so-called deadfall is the real menace here. You have to cross over it to get to the spirit land beyond the Pet Sematary.
The place we're going is on the other side of that.
Oh, we can't climb over that.
They pile up, they become fire hazards, they become animal traps, they're death places themselves. They're snares, traps for the unwary. And of course you'd have to be crazy to ever climb one, or you'd have to have a real purpose. Anybody who's familiar with these woods here have seen the deadfalls and know enough to either go around them or to stay out of their way. But this one here, if you look at it in the right way, almost seems to have a face.
Oh, come on, it's just a big pile of scrap wood.
Anyways, it's not about the Pet Sematary at all. April Fools, it's about the ancient Micmac burial ground on the other side.
Micmac Indians.
And the paddywhack dwellings. That's where you want to bury the cat.
Here to bury Ellen's cat.
If you want it to come back evil.
Come on, church. Chow down.
Come on, guys. Not rocket science. You didn't let nature take its course, and now your cat's evil. He's out there doing all sorts of evil doing.
Like, well, you know, his eyes glow in the dark. Yeah, and he scratches people when they hold him like Simba. And he hunts rats.
Yeah, I don't really see how any of this ordinary cat behavior is supposed to be indicative of a demonic possession. I don't really see how any of this is going to generate any sort of fright.
Scared the life out of me, Church.
Okay, I genuinely didn't see that coming. That was freaky as shit. But now what could they possibly... The cat again. Now that was a fright. Okay, now I'm ready. What are you gonna throw at me? I'm not gonna fall for the old cat again. Flying fucking baby!
Grinning a death grin, scalpeling Achilles tendons, dressed up like a lord. When I'm terrified to the point of awkward laughter, I find it helps to work on haikus. Seriously, is that it? A cat. And a Victorian baby. How the fuck is this movie scary? For homicidal little baby guys, I'm gonna have to go with Child's Play because Chucky's a real bastard, and this kid's little more than a homicidal rugrat. And cats? They're not scary.
When are cats scary? Not. That's when cats are not scary.
Oh, they don't?
Is snakes out there this big?
They're a perfect killing machine.
My face is scarier than a cat. Your mom's pussy's scarier than a cat. Get it? Pussy, cat.
So, let's see. You bury your own son in a magical graveyard when he's struck by a vehicle, causing a demon to rise and go on a killing spree. And then there's a ghost that represents your conscience.
Wait a minute. This all sounds kind of familiar.
Fresh off the Pumpkinhead review, it's hard not to note the similarities. Even though Pumpkinhead came out a year before, of course Stephen King's book Pet Sematary came out in 1983. I have to say, Pet Sematary is kind of a hodgepodge of late 80s horror cliches. I used to get Pet Sematary confused with Serpent in the Rainbow. Just look at the box. How could I not get confused? I shit you not. I can recall at least one occasion where I meant to rent one, but got the other instead. I guess I should learn to fucking read. But if I could read, I'd probably just read the Pet Sematary book, which I'm sure is way better. Actually, from what people who can read have told me, there's only one really major difference. The ending. In the book, the dad buries one final victim beyond the pet cemetery, his wife. Driven to insanity by the devastation that has occurred, he just sits and plays analog solitaire. He hears someone coming through the door and he thinks he hears her calling out through a mouthful of dirt. So, what's different in the movie?
Oh yeah, that's like way better. I mean, what a way to balls deep penetrate the subtlety. You could leave it open.
Okay, now guys, I'm just trying to affirm what we're doing here. I am trying to find a way to end that's punchy, that's fresh, that's he's sitting there contemplating, but contemplation doesn't get people's butts into seats. We don't want people contemplating whether they're buying that ticket. We do the contemplating for you. Does the wife come back evil? Yes. Does she kill the husband? Yes. Mr. King, this is how you end a story. This is how you fit into the late 80s market landscape and capitalize on the market for those other 10 movies we're trying to beat.
Pet Sematary is clearly a product of its time, but it has a timeless quality too.
Indeed, I concur.
Oh, really?
Indeed.
Literal Larry, the outstanding blowhard, what are you doing here?
Well, actually, I just came to correct your knowledge of this classic film. The mythos of Pet Sematary draws from the Wendigo legends of the Algonquin people. The Wendigo was a spirit of famine, often inhabiting the flesh of the natives, or appearing as a giant. Any people affected by its power began to indulge in cannibalism. Supposedly, this evil spirit has turned the soil of the ancient burial ground. Throughout the primary story arc, we also see homage to the tradition of wish legends, such as tales of genies, leprechauns, and the monkey paw variety, as the three resurrections represent three wishes twisted into terrible...
Yeah, we get the drill, okay? Make a deal with the devil, he can't come back. This item's non-refundable. Now get the fuck out of here, you asshole!
Whatever you're an asshole!
Asshole?
Asshole!
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 Would you believe that they were originally planning to have George Romero direct, then Tom Savini, while Bruce Campbell played the main role? But they passed it up, and what do we get? B-Squad. we get Herman Munster.
That's where I buried my dog Spot.
Well, there are talks of a remake, and I can't say I hold out much hope that it'll be any better, but I do think this story could be told with a little more depth and maturity. Although, for what it is, an 80s horror movie, it actually is a cut above the rest.
Concluding remarks? Pet Sematary? It stinks of the earth, and there's something not quite right about it.
The man around the corner swore he'd kill a cat on sight. He loaded up his shotgun with nails and dynamite. He waited and he waited for the cat to come around. 97 pieces of the man is all they found, but the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back. We thought he was a goner, but the cat came back. He just couldn't stay away. The cat was a possessor of a family of his own. With 7 little kittens, there came a cyclone. Blew the houses all apart and tossed the cat around. The air was full of kittens and not a one was ever found. Cat came back the very next day. The cat came back. We thought he was a goner, but the cat came back. It just couldn't stay away. The atom ball fell just the other day. The H-bomb fell in the very same way. Russia went, England went, and then the USA. The human race was finished without a chance to pray. But the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back. We thought he was a goner, but the cat came back. It just couldn't stay away. Just couldn't stay away. Yeah, 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 meow. Yeah, meow. Yeah, 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 meow. Give me a meow, meow. Give me a meow, meow. I said meow. I said meow too. Who the fuck are you? Meow, 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 meow.
What the fuck is this?
Oh, what did you want? A Star Trek reference? Yeah, you did. Look, I'm too good for that shit. Denise Crosby's a fine actress. For a dude,